Hey everyone, this is MusicTechHelpGuy, and welcome to part 7 of my Logic Pro 10 101 series. Today we're going to talk about vocal comping and tuning. So in this video, we'll talk about using a lower buffer size for recording, using low latency mode to record, recording vocals into comp folders, comping vocals with quick swipe comping, and tuning vocals with flex pitch. So to prepare for recording, the first thing we'll do is go to Logic Pro 10, Preferences, Audio, and in the Devices tab, we'll adjust our I/O buffer size to be a lower value, like 32 or 64 samples. What this will do is it'll process information in smaller chunks, but also give us less latency while recording. Because obviously if you're recording, you don't want to hear the music on a delay, so this prevents that. You can also turn on low latency mode in addition to this if you have problems still hearing a latency delay, even with the buffer size set low. If you don't see the low latency mode icon up here, right-click up here and choose the Customize Control Bar option. Here you can select low latency mode to show up. Alright, so now we can start recording. Here I've already tracked one take, and if you track another take right on top of a previous take, it'll automatically create a take folder for us.
With every turn I seek an answer to the best. These wasted days with you, been putting myself last.
Okay, so after multiple takes of recording, you can double click on a take folder to show the takes. Before we start editing, I'm going to turn off low latency mode, and then I'm going to go back to Logic Pro 10, Preferences, Audio, and change the I/O buffer size back to its maximum setting of 1024. Alright, so let's get in here and edit the vocals. We're going to use quick swipe comping like we've done before. One thing I am going to do with the vocals, just so they stand out against the rest of the song while we're editing, is I'm going to throw a compressor on here. So I'm going to go down to Dynamics, Compressor, and this is not the final compressor that we're gonna keep on this thing for mixing. Use the Opto module. If you don't know any of this means yet, don't worry about it. I like to just pull the threshold down quite a bit, pull the ratio up quite a bit, turn the auto gain off, turn the makeup gain a touch. And this is just going to level out the vocals for us a little bit so we can hear them better against the backing music, because the dynamics, as you can see, jump all over the place. There's really loud spots, there's really soft spots. So this will help to just kind of level things out while we're editing, and then we'll swap this out for something different later on.
With every turn I seek an answer to the best.
All right, cool. And one of the issues we're going to be faced with here too is I know this microphone, I only really use it from home. If I'm at the studio, I don't use this mic on my voice. I sing really loud sometimes, and I tend to overmodulate the mic, and the C414 doesn't exactly hold up with my voice very well. So we'll do the best we can, find the best takes using quick swipe comping, and if there's anything I need to go back and re-record, just maybe a phrase here or there, I'll do that. So here's the very first verse. What I typically do is I like to put the cycle mode around the phrase I'm editing, and then just swipe over that phrase and then jump from each take to find which one I like best. So I believe this is take 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So let's start with take 1.
With every turn I seek an answer to the best.
All right.
With every turn I seek an answer to the best.
Yeah, I definitely like the front end better on that one. It's got a little more energy to it.
With every turn I seek an answer to the best.
That one's kind of weird and pitchy.
With every turn I seek an answer to the best.
So I like the front end of this one, and I like the back end of this one, but I like this little scoop in my voice down here. So maybe I can just pull that out. And then you can adjust these boundaries just by clicking and dragging. So let's see how well that turns out.
With every turn I seek an answer to the best.
Let's try this one.
An answer to the best.
Much better. So move on to the second phrase here.
These wasted days with you, been putting myself last. These wasted days with you, been putting myself last.
I like the front end on this one.
These wasted days with
That one's just completely botched.
These wasted days with you, been putting myself last.
Actually, I kind of like the front end of that one too. Let's try this one.
These wasted days with you. These wasted days with you.
I kind of like the front end, but when I get to
these wasted days,
the word days, it's a little too out of control. My voice gets like that too. Just I don't have a whole lot of control over my voice, unfortunately, when I sing.
These wasted days with you.
I know that sounds weird, but using quick swipe comping for editing is just a godsend for me when I'm editing my own vocals.
These wasted days with you, been putting.
Let me see if I can find a better U.
These wasted days with you.
Nope.
These wasted days with you, been.
Yeah, that's not bad. We'll use that one. And the second phrase.
Been putting myself last. Been putting myself last.
I like the very last word there, but the rest of it's kind of pitchy.
Been putting myself last.
That whole one just sounds flat to me. So maybe we'll just use this part of that one.
Been putting myself last. Been putting myself last.
Yeah, been putting is kind of flat, but we'll fix that with flex pitch later. So let's listen to that whole phrase now.
These wasted days with you, been putting myself last.
So over here is where we're going to probably start running into over-modulating the mic issues, because I can see there's some pretty loud spots.
But all is gone, and never again will I be torn.
Ick.
Between the...
Let's try this second take here.
But all is gone, and never again will I be torn. But all that's gone, and never again will I be torn.
Actually, I think I only got the lyric right here on just on this one. These two, I misread the lyrics.
But all that's gone.
Yeah, but all that's gone.
But all that's gone, and never again will I be torn.
I don't mind that one so much. I almost like a little bit of the oversaturation, but you know, again, I don't want it to sound like it's distorted either.
But all that's gone, and never again will I be torn.
Let's just try a different second phrase here.
But all that's gone, and never again will I be torn. But all that's gone, and never again will I be torn.
Definitely not that one. So it's between this one.
But all that's gone, and never again will I be torn.
Man.
But all that's gone, and never again will I be torn.
Yeah, it's tough.
But all that's gone, and never again will I be torn. But all that's gone, and never again will I be torn.
I'm gonna go with the bottom one. Yeah, this one seems like a little more in control than the top one does. Let's move over here.
Between the wall and you and me, a bridge that must be burned.
Let's try this one.
Between the wall and you and me, a bridge that must be burned.
Yeah, I sound kind of whiny there.
Between the wall and you and me, a bridge that must be burned.
I like the second half of this one. Let's try the second half of that one with the first half of this one.
Between the wall and you and me, a bridge that must be burned.
Cool. So then we move into the chorus. In the chorus, I did sing, there's like a falsetto part. There's a bunch of layered vocals. We'll get to that in just a second. But for now, I'm not going to worry about trying to edit the chorus, or at least this part of the chorus. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to collapse this folder. Let's move over to the second verse, and I'll edit this up as well. So let's pull this and open. Let's give this the first take a listen.
We've come so far.
Yeah, I think I was trying to go a little too high. Let's listen to that again.
We've come so far. Let it bleed.
Let's stop there, because I know I'm not going to get too far without me not liking it. Let's try the second one.
We've come so far. Let it bleed. We've come so far. Let it bleed. We've come so. We've come so far, let it bleed.
Yeah, that one definitely overmodulated the mic, but the front end actually sounds pretty good.
We've come so far. We've come so far. We've come so far.
Actually, I kind of like that high note there. I know the rest of the take isn't very good, but I'm going to go ahead and use that.
We've come so far, let it bleed. We've come so far, let it bleed.
That's the overmodulated one. We don't want that.
We've come so far, let it bleed. We've come so far, let it bleed. We've come so far, let it bleed.
Yeah, I'm gonna use that one. Let's move on to this phrase.
Let it seal the fate you're living. Let it seal the fate you're living. Let it seal the fate you're living. Let it seal the fate you're living.
Yeah, that one's definitely the best one there. Let's move over here.
Let it die when every day's a struggle. Let it die.
Yeah, overmodulate.
Let it die when every day's a struggle. Let it die. Let it die.
Nope.
Let it die. Let it die.
I like that. Again, it's it's kind of shouty, but it's hard rock. Sing with emotion and intention, I guess.
When every day's a struggle, let it die. When every day's a struggle, let it die. When every day's a struggle, let it die. When every day's a struggle, let it die.
I like that phrase. I don't like the overmodulated note here. I don't like the last note on it. Let me try to find a different last note, and I'll see if I can swap out that overmodulated note with another one.
When every day's a struggle, let it die. When every day's a struggle, let it die.
Yeah, I like that note. So let's go with that. Put it right in the middle there. And then just this note right here. Gotta swap this out. This is overmodulating.
When every day's a struggle, let it die.
Let's try this one instead.
When every day's a struggle, let it die. When every day's a struggle. When every day's a struggle,
yeah, let's use that one. That one sounds the closest to the original.
When every day's a struggle, let it die.
And our last couple phrases here.
There's nothing wrong with giving up when you've been strong for so long.
It's actually a good take.
There's nothing wrong with giving up when you've been strong for so long. There's nothing wrong with giving up when you've been strong for so long.
So let's just start with the "there's nothing wrong" part.
There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong.
Overmodulated.
There's nothing wrong.
It's a good one.
There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong.
I'm gonna use that one. A little more raw, a little more aggressive.
With giving up when you've been strong for so long.
Some overmodulating in there. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Let's drag over just this.
With giving up when you've been strong for so long. With giving up when you've been strong for so long.
It's not bad.
With giving up when you've been strong for so long.
Nah, not a fan.
With giving up when you've been strong for so long. With giving up when you've been strong for so long.
Wonder if I could just use the "for so long" of this one.
With giving up when you've been strong for so long.
There we go. And the very last phrase of the second verse. Start down here, which I think this one's a mistake.
I've tried for 3 long years. Damn.
It's definitely a mistake.
I've tried for 3 long years, but goddamn it feels like 30. I've tried for 3 long years, but goddamn it feels like 30.
Yeah, I have a feeling these are gonna overmodulate.
I've tried for 3 long years, but goddamn it feels like 30. I've tried for 3 long years, but goddamn it feels
That's not bad. Let's try the front end of this one with the back end of this one.
I've tried for 3 long years, but goddamn it feels like 30.
Yeah, let's try this part here though.
I've tried for 3 long years. I've tried for 3 long years, but goddamn it feels like 30.
And there we go. So we got our whole first verse and second verse all edited up. You can collapse those folders down. So what I'm going to do off screen, I want to keep going on and on and on here, is I'm going to edit up the chorus and the leads, and then I'm going to go through all of these stacked backing vocals. I'm going to edit these as well because there's multiple playlists within these as well, multiple takes within these take folders as well. So I'll be right back with all of my vocals comped and edited up. All right, so what I did is I went through and I consolidated all of the edits down. I went through all of the backing vocals and chose the best takes of those as well. Don't pay too much attention to the backing vocals and really the chorus in general at this point because I have another singer coming in to do some backing vocals on this. There's a little gap here that won't be here after I get those vocals done, but I'll play this from midway through the first verse all the way through the chorus just so you can get an idea of what's going on. And then what we'll do is we'll go through and we will tune all of my lead vocals and then we'll end the video there.
But all that's gone, and never again will I be torn. Between the wall and you and me, a bridge that must be burned. Darling, baby, drive me crazy. This is not your place to steal my heart. One more day, please give me everything. After this, you'll walk this road. You'll walk this road alone.
All right, cool. So like I said, don't worry about these don't worry about those so much. I'm going to go through and have another singer go on top of that and layer on top of it so it sounds more like a choir or a group singing. And then there's another little vocal that goes in this gap here. But for now, let's just focus on tuning up the lead vocal with flex pitch. So flex pitch is a function in Logic that kind of functions like Melodyne, where it allows you to view your notes on a piano roll per se, and you can shift the notes up and down. You can pitch quantize the notes. So I'm just going to go through and tighten up my tuning. So the way we're going to do this is click on the flex time button. So this just shows flex. And on our lead vocal track, we're going to enable flex by clicking here. And what that's going to do is it's going to analyze the whole thing, but it's analyzing it for flex time, not flex pitch. So what we're going to do now is click on polyphonic here and go up to flex pitch. And this is going to analyze all the pitch material. And then we can go through and we can see all of the notes in our recording. Now, I hate working up here. I like working down in the editor in the bottom here. So if you double click on any of these regions, it'll open it up down in the track editor, which is the way I prefer to work in flex pitch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to solo out the vocals because I really only want to hear the vocals right now. And you can double click up here on the timeline just to play through this area here.
With every turn I seek.
And you'll notice that each note appears on the timeline like a note in piano roll. And the line is essentially showing you the wavering pitch of that note. Now, one of the cool things that flex pitch does do is stuff like this, where it's obviously consonant material that doesn't have any tonal aspects to it, any like pitch aspects to it. It omits that note entirely.
With every turn I seek.
Now, I'm in the key of C minor, and one of the things that you probably noticed from the last video is that the guitars sound lower. I actually went through and re-recorded all of the guitars down 2 steps. So originally I was in drop D, now I'm in drop C, so the whole song is in C minor. So one quick way to tune vocals, you can drag over the notes that you want to tune. You can choose a scale quantize. I'm going to put this in natural minor, and then I'm going to put this on C. So all notes will quantize to the key of C natural minor, and then you can pull the pitch correct option all the way up here, and those notes will snap to their closest note.
With every turn I seek.
Now, the thing is, you may not always want notes to be perfectly quantized to the grid. For instance, right here.
With every turn I
right here. I'm going to pull that down.
With every turn I seek.
And one thing you can do is you can, if you grab one of these 6 points on each note, you can adjust 6 different things. So the top one is the fine pitch. This allows you to move up and down in cents as opposed to semitones. A cent is 1/100th of a semitone. A semitone is the same thing as a musical half step. So C to C sharp, that's 1 half step. So you can go and you can fine tune the notes this way. You can also adjust the amount of vibrato on the note. So if there's a lot of pitch waver on the note, you can get rid of it that way. You can also adjust the pitch drift at the front end or the back end of the note here. So if you don't want the front end of the note to scoop down so much, or you want it to maybe scoop down more, you can adjust it that way. Now, one of the things with flex pitch you have to be aware of is that any changes you make can have adverse effects on the tonal quality of the recording. So you have to be careful not to do too much, and too much tuning can sort of sound robotic as well. So let's give this a listen now.
With every turn I seek.
There we go. So one thing I like to do is I like to tune everything up to the grid, drag over all the notes, and I like to just pull the vibrato down just a touch. This one probably doesn't need to be down anymore because we already played around with it.
With every turn I seek.
So this last note, you can see that it's got some weird sounds in there. So let's right click on this note and let's say reset all. We'll still keep it quantized, but I'm not going to mess with really anything else. Maybe I'll pull down the front end pitch drift a little bit. There we go. So that sounds a lot better.
With every turn I seek.
And even here, I could probably do that a bit.
Turn I seek.
Yeah, much better.
With every turn I seek.
Let's go on to the next phrase here.
An answer to the past.
I'm just going to leave this note alone completely. It's just it's a breath, really.
An answer to the past.
All right, so with this phrase, an answer was also supposed to be one note. So I'm going to pull an up to E flat with this other note. Drag over all these. Let's pitch correct all of these.
An answer to the past.
So let's play around with this and let's see if we can get this sounding a little bit nicer, a little bit more in the pocket pitch-wise.
An answer to the past.
Let's pull this front end pitch drift down a bit.
An answer to the past.
Yeah, it doesn't sound too bad. There's something a little weird sounding here with the word past. All right, so let's move on to the next phrase here.
These wasted days with you, been putting myself last.
So everything but this note I'm going to tune up. Drag over these. Turn the pitch correction up. Drag over these. Pull the pitch correction up as well.
These wasted days with you.
Yeah, these wasted. This word right here sounds like it doesn't need to be tuned.
These wasted days with you, been putting myself last.
Yeah, I mean, Logic has done a lot to really improve flex pitch a lot. It's still, in my opinion, not as good as Melodyne, but it'll get the job done for basic vocal tuning. You know what? Again, the whole process is, you know, quantize it, pitch correct it to the grid, lower the vibrato a little bit. That tends to be my workflow. And it's not overdoing the pitch correction. I don't want it to sound like auto-tune. I want it to sound like real vocals, just tighter vocals than my original recording.
These wasted days with you, been putting myself last.
Like things like that, where you can tell something's not right there. I'll pull that vibrato back up so it sounds more natural. There we go.
But all that's gone, and never again will I be torn.
Now something like this, where it says torn, it's like a scoop up. You can actually separate this note into 2 separate notes. If I want this to be a lower note and this a higher note, what you can do is grab your scissors tool, and you can cut that note.
Torn.
Now, I'm not going to do that there because it actually sounds fine without it, but just so you know, if you need to break up a note, that's how you can go about doing that. So let's do the same thing we've been doing.
But all that's gone.
And I gotta be careful here. When it gets shouty, shouty vocals are very difficult to tune because the shoutiness of it introduces more harmonics into the signal that sort of obfuscate the actual pitch itself.
But all that's gone.
So just to be really careful about which notes you tune. I'm not going to tune all of these. I'm going to tune these two and this one right here. And I'm not even going to play with the pitch shift at all.
But all that's gone and never again.
Listen to that with the music. That's a hard phrase to do.
But all that's gone and never again will I be torn.
Yeah, that sounds good. Like, again, I hate to say we need to hide the vocals behind the music, but some of the artifacts that are created from pitch shifting and vocal tuning, you just can't avoid them, you know? So we kind of have to hide some of those artifacts under the music.
Be burned.
So if you end up with something like this, where you have two notes that are part of the same note, but it's separated them, what you can do is drag over both of them, grab your glue tool, and you can glue these back together. So now they're one note like they should be. So let's just tune up Bridge That Must Be Burned.
Bridge that must be burned.
Let's pull up this pitch drift a bit. I will pull down the vibrato a touch. Notice I only go down to about the low 80s, is about as far as I go.
A bridge that must be burned.
All right, so that's that whole verse. Let's give that whole verse a listen now with the music in.
With every turn I seek an answer to the past. These wasted days with you, been putting myself last. But all that's gone, and never again will I be torn. Between the wall and you and me, a bridge that must be burned.
Cool. It sounds. It doesn't sound 10 times better or anything, but it's just ever so slightly better, and it's ever so slightly tighter and closer to pitch and closer to where it needs to be. Now, one last thing you can do here, and it's in particular this part where to me the rhythm seems a little bit off.
All that's gone, and never again will I be torn.
I just want to tighten up that rhythm a little bit. What you can do is you can actually grab any note and you can adjust its rhythm from the left or from the right side, almost like a trim function. So I'm just gonna like kind of pull these notes a little more forward.
Never again will I be.
Because I just feel like I'm just a little out of time with these. Like everything's like a little bit, like the big notes are a little bit behind. Let's put a loop on this.
Never again will I be torn.
Yeah, torn sounds like it comes in just a little too late.
Never again will I be torn.
Yeah, let's pull this over a bit, just like that.
Never again will I be torn.
Let's make this note last a little longer.
Never again will I be torn.
There you go. So even within flex pitch, you can adjust the timing of notes. If your rhythm isn't perfect, you can go and adjust the rhythm that way. Okay, so rather than do all this on screen and make this a 2-hour video, I'm going to go through, I'm going to do this off screen, and then I'll show you the final result with all of the lead vocals fully tuned. I'll be right back. All right, so I went through, I tuned up the lead vocals in the chorus as well as the second verse vocals. I've left all the backing vocals down here in the chorus alone because I've got some other work I need to do to those, which I'll do off screen. Again, just the process again is, first of all, omitting notes that don't need to be tuned or sound worse when you tune them, selecting the notes that do need to be tuned, pitch correcting them to whatever key you need to go to, in my case, C minor, and then I'm pulling down the vibrato just a touch on some notes and then adjusting the pitch drift on other notes. And then I also had to go through and separate a few notes in some places and join notes as well. So as long as you kind of follow that process, you'll end up with a good result. Just flex pitch, honestly, is a little limited compared to, say, Melodyne. And you're only going to get so far with it. So as long as you understand that and you don't try to push it too hard, you'll typically end up with a good result. So let's give this a listen, and then we'll wrap up the video.
With every turn I seek an answer to the past. These wasted days with you, been putting myself last. But all that's gone, and never again will I be torn. Between the wall and you and me, a bridge that must be burned. Darling, baby, drive me crazy. This is not your place to steal my heart. One more day, please give me everything. After this, you'll walk this road. You'll walk this road alone.
Yeah, and again, don't worry about the backing vocals in the chorus too much right now. All right, let's listen to the second verse now.
We've come so far, let it bleed, let it seal the fate you're living. Let it die, when every day's a struggle, let it die. There's nothing wrong with giving up when you've been strong for so long. I've tried for 3 long years, but goddamn it feels like 30.
And there you go. So that is using quick swipe comping to edit vocal takes together, and then using flex pitch to tighten up the tuning of the vocals. Take it easy, understand the limitations of what flex pitch can do. You will end up with a good result. You'll end up with a bad result if you try to do too much. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. In the next video, we're actually going to move on to mixing the song, and you're going to see a lot of changes with this session between now and the next session, in the next video. But in the next video, I'll allow you to download this session to work along with me. So for parts 8, 9, and 10, we'll be doing all mixing and mastering, and we will finish up this project. So if you want to check me out on social media, you can find me on Facebook, you can find me on Twitter and Patreon. As always, thank you for the support, and thanks for watching.